Hello everyone and welcome to another Facebook Live. It's really nice to be back again and I hope you've all had a good start to the week. I'm going to share a card with you using the Trucking Along stamp set. Now this stamp set isn't in a catalogue. It is one of the online exclusives and it's still currently available to purchase. So it's just not in print. Now, being online exclusive, you don't have to shop online. You can still place your order through me how you normally would, and I can certainly find the code and get the information for this for you. So I'll upload that information in the comments when I'm done. This card I actually made quite some time ago. So there it is there. And I have used crushed curry. I want to make the same card to show you how easy it is. Let me just hold a bit closer. How easy it is to use the same design and just change it up. And this stamp set, you can change it up. And I'm actually going to make this one a Christmas card. Okay, so all I'm going to do is change up the colors. The design is going to be the same. And I'm going to change the sentiment. On the inside, I have finished it off with a piece of crushed curry. But I have got here as well a piece of real red and garden green because I just haven't decided what colours I'm going to do for the sentiment. So the colour I do the sentiment is the colour of the cardstock I'm going to use for the inside. So let me show you the products that you need for this. So I do have my half sheet of A4, which is the thicker one. I've got my piece for the inside, and I've only got the one. I only need one piece for this card. So these measure 10 centimeters by 14.4. I have got as well for the inside a piece of white to do the matte, which is 9.5 by 13.9. Actually, I've got two of those, I think. I do have two of those, so one for the inside, one for the front. And I've got a smaller piece for the front, which is 9 centimeters by 13.4. So I have got, let me hold this up a little closer, I've got multiple layers of white. Normally I do a color in there, but sometimes the white works really nicely as well. I've also got 3 basic rhinestones. So let's get started. So with the colouring for this card, I'm actually going to be using some watercolour pencils. Again, I'm going to be choosing colours that are a little bit more Christmassy. So I'll go with the red and also the green, of course. So I'm going to grab out a couple of stamps that I need. And as you can see, photopolymer, they do get a little bit stained. Don't worry about that though. Your stamp is still going to work fine, even if it is a little bit stained. Might grab that one. So I've got my truck. I also need the shadow underneath the truck, which is just some little lines. Another block for that one. I am also going to get the trees. Now this is a two-step stamp set, but I am actually going to be using this just with the line art pieces, not the shaded pieces. So I've got my trees. I think I got the right piece. It looks like the right piece. And I also need my Christmas sentiment as well, which is wishing you a festive Christmas. Okay. So I need a block for that one as well. So I am going to start off by using black, and I am using Memento. Hi Pam, thank you for joining me. Okay, so I'm going to start by stamping the truck, and I am using this piece that measures 9 centimeters by 13.4. Again, I'll put the measurements in the comments when I'm done. So roughly in the middle. While I've got my black ink pad out, I am going to be stamping the little squiggly lines underneath for the shadow, which is about there. Probably a touch too low, but that will be fine. I can always go over that with a little bit of colour. Hi Mandy, thanks for joining us. Okay, and in the back of the ute, I am going to be doing the Christmas tree. And that actually has lined up pretty well, if I might say so myself. Okay, so the final thing I need to do, actually, I'm going to colour first and then I'll decide on what colour to use. So I'm going to be using Real Red and Garden Green pencils. Mine are kind of getting a little bit small, but they get used a lot. I'm going to go in with, I think, a little bit of brown as well, just to fill in a little bit of that space. So there are a few different colour mediums you can use. We do have the pencils, which of course I've got here. There's also the Stampin' Blends, which are alcohol markers, which behave in a slightly different way. And we've also got the soft pastels as well, which again, they do work in a slightly different way. I need some grey, so we'll do some, there's a little bit of chrome on the bumpers. And we're going to do a little bit of grey around the wheels. I'm actually going to do some red on the inside of the wheels, and I need black as well. So we can actually have black tyres. So with the watercolour pencils, you can use them as ordinary pencils and just shade it in and leave it how it is. Or you can use the blender pen, which I'm going to show you that in just a few moments, just to move it and blend the colour around a little bit more. I think all of the colour mediums are really fun to use. I think my favourites to use would be the Stampin' Blends. However, I tend to use watercolour pencils more than Stampin' Blends. Okay, so I have done, I'm going to hold this up a little closer so you can see it before I put the colour on. So you can see there it is coloured, but it's fairly rough. Hi Shirley, thanks for joining me. Okay, so with this you can then go in with a water pen which looks something like that. Okay, so this is just a watercolour brush, and in the barrel of the pen you just put tap water. So that is one option. The other option you have is using an actual blender pen. So this is dual tipped. Both tips are the same size. It's just that if one tip wears out, you've got the other one that you can use. So I'm just going to grab a piece of scrap paper. One thing you need to remember when you're doing watercolouring is make sure that the tip of your water pen or your blender pen is clean, and I'm just going to run that over my scrap piece of paper to make sure that's clean. Hi Tracy. Okay, so with the colouring, this acts like just like a marker or a texter, and I'm just smoothing over that colour a little bit. And all I've done is move the colour and smoothed it out. Before I change colours, I'm going to clean the tip off again. And then I'm going to do a little bit down the bottom so the truck's not floating. Again, clean off that tip. And I'm going to do the grey next. I'm going to hold this up in just one moment so you can take a look. Now, one thing I found that cleaning the red off the tip of the blender pen can be challenging, which is why I'm doing red last. So if I hold that up, you can see that I have started to just blend those colours out a little bit. So I'm going to finish off doing the tyres. I'll clean the tip of my blender pen off, and then I'll go in and use the red. You don't need to use too much pressure when you're using your blender pen. And then I'm going to do the red. As I mentioned, I do find it a little bit harder to get the red off the end, off the tip of the blender pen. I think that's just the nature of red in general. If any color is going to stain anything or any dye in ink, it's always going to be red. And then I'm going to hold this up in just a moment and share with you the finished product where it's all a little bit, oh, I forgot some, a little bit smoother. The other thing you can do is scribble some pencil onto your scrap piece of paper and pick that up onto the blender pen. There we go, it's done. And then of course you are just going to want to clean that blender pen before you put it away. One tip to remember with blender pens, because they are dual tipped, you want to make sure they're stored flat. So that way then you don't end up with a dry tip. So that is the blender pen, which is a really nice tool to use. Okay, so I've now finished my bit of colouring, and I think I'm actually going to do the sentiment in, I think I'm going to do red. Okay, so I've got my real red and my sentiment. Make sure I stamp it up the right way. I'm going to center that a little bit. Oh, let me see if I can get this straight. It's going to go around about there. There we go. I even kind of stamped it straight, so that's always quite nice. Yeah, Sharon, it's a really, if you're doing something really fine with your colouring, because let's get serious, they're like a standard size pencil. If you need to colour in something really fine, just get some of that colour onto a scrap piece of paper or the scratch paper underneath you, and just use a blender pen to pick it up. And you can do the same with the watercolour pen as well. Just use your piece of scrap paper as your palette. You can also then, if you want to create a different colour, you can actually blend colour together and then sort of mix them together a little bit. It's just a good way of doing fine colouring in without getting, I guess, going out of the lines. So that is how you can do that. So there's lots of different ways of using the tools, of course. Okay, so I've got my original and I have turned this card into a Christmas card. So I also going to start sticking this together, and then I'll put my little blingy bits on. Actually, we need to stamp on the inside as well. We'll stamp the Christmas tree in the corner, I think. So I'll grab the black. We'll grab the Christmas tree, making sure it's going the right way. And a little Christmas tree in the corner. So I'm going to use a little bit of the green. And of course you could do different colours if you wanted to and do some cute little baubles on it. But I'm not doing that today. That seems like an extra step that I haven't really thought about the best way of doing it. Okay, so very quick and simple. Adding a little bit of extra detail into the inside of the card, and of course cleaning off. The other thing you could use, if you've got some, I can't think of the exact name of them, but it's a product that's been around for a little while. There is a liquid in a bottle, and they're different colours and they look like little pearls when they're dry. I can't think of the name of them, but that would be really cute on this card as well, to add some little baubles that shimmer to the Christmas tree. Okay, let's put this together. So folding my base in half. Okay, so for those in Victoria, we have a long weekend. What has everyone got planned? Is anyone going away for the long weekend? because of course it's grand final weekend this weekend. Now, I don't watch the grand final. I normally choose other stuff to do. Yeah, something similar, Sharon, to liquid of the crystal effects, but it's got colour. I can't think of the name of it. Enamel dots or something. And I don't even have my catalogue sitting near me to have a look for it. Okay, so with this piece of white for the front, I'm going to be sticking this on. I think they're called Pearl Effects, perhaps. So my piece of white, this one measures 9.5 by 13.9. Oh, thanks, Sharon. Sharon's going to take a look so we can see what they are. Okay. So my first layer of white, I'm sticking down with Stamp and Seal. Sharon, they do come in metallic colours, and the other one has got red, green and white in it, I think. Okay, so my first layer of white, which is 9.5 by 13.9, I've stuck down flat with Stamp and Seal. So my top layer, the one that's got my little truck and the Christmas tree, I'm going to use dimensionals. So, and I do have some minis here to use. So I have got my, as always, my Take Your Pick tool. Now, just while I'm doing this, I just want to chat with everyone. I'm not sure if you saw my post last night, but I'm going to be doing a mini catalogue launch event, and it's an online event. So it's going to be enamel effects. Thank you, Sharon. Okay, so as I was saying, I shared a post last night about doing a mini catalogue launch online. So that is going to be all through my Facebook page. So Saturday and Sunday, so this Saturday, this Sunday, I'm going to be doing that event. I'm going to be doing probably, I think, 3 Facebook Lives during the course of the weekend. Plus I've probably got 3 or 4 videos I'm going to be sharing as well. And there's going to be some giveaways and things like that. So I do hope you can take a look at some point over the weekend. If you can't join me live, and I will be sharing the schedule of when I'll be going live and when I'm going to be sharing videos. If you can't join me live, I hope you'll watch those on replay. So that is going to be this Saturday and Sunday. Yes, the launch. Sorry, I'm looking for my lid for the Take Your Pick tool. While I'm working on the front, I have got my little rhinestones, and as always, I'm going to be using that putty end to put my rhinestones on. I do apologise. Focus isn't coming very easily today or tonight. Oops. Okay, so I've got my 3 rhinestones on, and to finish off the inside, I think I'm going to stick with the red, and that way it just draws all that red in from the front. So using some Stamp and Seal, and of course I need to give you the reminder with these, a little tick to break the stream of the adhesive and a light hand. Okay, so you don't need to use too much pressure at all with your Stamp and Seal, or you might find it will break. Okay, and finally, to finish off my card, I've got the Stamp and Seal as well. Now I have some reminders, but I've sat down. I thought I was on top of all of my preparation, but I sat down and left my little flyers behind. So I'm going to quickly talk. So you can see here the 2 cards, same card, just made for different occasions. So this weekend I have got my launch event, which starts, the first Facebook Live will be this Saturday at 1:30. Okay, so there's going to be a second Facebook Live on Saturday afternoon, plus a couple of videos. Sunday, a few videos. Sunday night, I'll be doing a final Facebook Live. I also have, of course, the scrapbook class coming up. I'm going to have more to share with you this weekend, so I'm actually going to sit down Thursday and Friday and make those pages up so I can share those with you over the weekend. And finally, of course, I have got my monthly card class starting next month, which all the information has already been posted on my Facebook page, but I'll be sharing that again multiple times. So if you've missed that, there are more reminders coming for that. So that is all I've got for you. I won't be back again until the weekend to do any more Facebook Lives or videos, but of course I will be continuing to share some creations on my page, so please check back each day. Thank you so much everyone for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and also of course enjoying seeing the same card made for a different occasion, because you can keep reusing these same designs over and over, just change them up a little bit. So thanks again everyone for watching. I hope you have a good rest of the week, and I will see you hopefully all here on Saturday. So take care everyone, and see you then. Bye.